Hey you guys, this is your coach, Dr. Andrea Dickerson here with EyeOnTheDaycare.com, where we connect childcare business owners with proven management solutions. For today's proven management solution, I want to talk to childcare business owners about implementing a system in your childcare classroom that will be more effective in completing your lesson plans and classroom management. If you're interested to find out how I got them both done with one system, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
Are you ready to start?
Hey you guys, thank you so much for staying along with me. I am so excited. I'm excited because framework and building your business model is essential for taking your business to the next level. I want to give you some effective strategies that I used in my business to help me stay in control and to get things done in my classroom. I want to talk to you today about my lesson plan daily flow. My lesson plan daily flow is a concept that came to me when giving my teachers the layout to complete their lesson plans and also to manage their classrooms. When I started utilizing this principle, it allowed my teachers to pre-plan in advance, and it gave me the assurance that my team knew how to accomplish the vision in my classroom. Let me give you some context to this system so that you'll understand. By the time I created this lesson plan flow sheet, I had individuals that had been in my childcare program for about 2 years. So if you have teachers that's in your program for 2 or more years, this concept will really work for you. If your teachers have not been with you that long, then I suggest that you listen up and plan ahead to implement this when you feel as if your team is pretty solid. Here we go. I created this lesson plan flow when working in my programs because I wanted for my teachers to have accountability with their lesson plans. Now, this lesson plan flow may not be a flow that you use for a lesson plan document that your state reps or your accreditation reps will review. This is only for the purposes of lesson plan and classroom management all in one. Let me take you behind the scenes. The top of this is where I wanted for my teachers to plan their curriculum week. And so we use semester systems. So that's why we had curriculum week, because our semesters was broken up into semester 1, week 1, semester 1, week 2, semester 1, week 3. So whatever week they were in, that's what I needed for them to identify, because behind the scenes, I had already created a year-long curriculum layout and a semester layout so my teachers could quickly go to the layout that's a part of their Jumpstart bin and grab which week they were planning for, and also use our picture book that explained to them the images of the activities that I wanted for the children to do in the classroom. So they would grab curriculum 1, week 1, semester 1, week 1, and enter it there. And then I also asked for my teachers to have a weekly objective or a skill objective that they wanted for the children to gain. Now, this weekly skill or objective came from our curriculum layout that was completely done for them, where we had our learning domains and our standards broken into levels. So our learning domains such as language development, science, physical, those learning domains, as well as the standards, standard level 1, standard level 2, standard level 3, standard level 4, were automatically broken into our semester system. So that meant that the skill objective was already identified to match the curriculum week. So I needed for my teachers to be able to utilize that tool, which is our state learning standards, as a part of their objective when planning their lesson plans. Next, the next area was the theme. We created our semester layout to include the theme. And then the next one is our book. I asked for my teachers to have a book of focus for each week so that the children can retain information. There's a learning philosophy that we used in my program, which was called See It, Say It, Master It. So that's how we taught through a biblical principle that if you see it, if you say it, then you will master it. We also identified the shape, the letter, the number, and the color of the week. The next objective for classroom management that I asked my teachers to plan for on this lesson plan flowchart was special events and field trips. So in my program, we offered trips or special events throughout the school year. And then, of course, we would have our regular summer field trips as well. So I listed that to the top as the starting point for my teachers so that they will have clear understanding and being prepared for executing the lesson plan. Next, the most important area for my company was for our circle time. During circle time was where we had our rules that were taught to the children, language development that was used during circle time, rote count, alphabet counting, alphabet recognition, and where we did our attendance, our songs, our music and movement. So with that being said, I planned for our teachers to know in advance what they were going to do in circle time. So here we have our focus of the week. And so I'm going to talk to you more about this framework in just a minute, so stay with me. So with this focus of the week, I asked my teachers to identify their good morning song, their music and movement activity, their math concept, their alphabet strategy. So the alphabet strategy was because our state had begun to change standards, and rote counting and rote alphabet recognition became a strong dislike for our state. So instead of us changing our focus of the week board, we implemented strategy. So strategy would be where we would ask the teachers to subliminally teach alphabets through songs or through sounding of words. Next, again, like I mentioned, circle time was important because it was for conversation starters, language development. And so we asked for them to identify topics that they're going to use during these circle time to initiate conversation for language development. Also did community helper assignments. So I made sure that my teachers assigned community helpers in the classroom and highlighted that person or one of those people a day so that we can recognize community helpers and create engagement for the other children to want to participate. And then on the back of the form, this is where we have our classroom management portion. So let me explain to you how this works. All right, on this side here, you will see arrival timetable setup. So one of my classroom expectations was when you close out your classroom, you set up your table, having it ready for the next day. Now, why I chose to do that is because I noted that when children arrived, some teachers without early childhood care and education background would allow children to sit to the table with nothing to do. Kids would come in early, put their heads on the table because they were still drowsy, etc. I also noted that without having this type of setup, that the morning arrival was more frustrating than calm, cool, and collective. So I decided to implement the table setup system. Now, my framework to support the system was that it was a part of the planning process. So my teachers were responsible for planning this out every 2 weeks. And so when I walked in the room, if I wanted to check and make sure that they were following their lesson plans, I would pull this form, which shows me how many tables they have in the room, what their colors are on the table, because we use a color code system. The color code system are the circle dots that go on the table. So those circle dots that go on the table are also listed here. And then we ask for them to tell me what material you're going to use in the different centers to put on the table. That's why we use trays in my program, because we have to put the trays on the table so that we are giving the children activities to do in the morning at their tables. And so they plan out what materials from the shelves they're going to take and put on the table. And they also plan out which table gets that activity. Is it the green table, the red table, the yellow table, the blue table? And we color coded our tables utilizing the dots that you can purchase on Amazon. So that was one system that allowed the teachers to close out the room correctly so that the room can open up correctly and facilitate ease of flow in classroom management. Next, I set it up where my teachers planned out their large group activity and their small group activity. I also identified to my teachers how many children can be in that size group. And I asked them to identify what they were going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And we also were open on Saturday. So we also identified on Saturday what those things were. And so inside of our pre-created curriculum that I planned myself, I identified large group activities that I wanted to see the children do. I also gave my teachers a picture book so that they can see what activities would come out of these different size groups, whether it was small group or large group. And my teachers would identify what those were and put them there. Now, also I have a GELDS, which is my Georgia Early Learning Developmental Standards. And so my standards were there just to make sure that they could verify that this activity that they were going to do with the children met the Georgia standards. And in closing, I know this is a long video, but I also did what we call weekly learning objectives. All right, so the reason why we did weekly learning objectives is so that our centers can be utilized for educational purposes. If you take a look at the School of Systems, our material that we use are not just in general toys, but they are learning materials. And so I teach my teachers about those learning materials, and they are to plan what they're going to use in sensory as an activity, what they're going to use to facilitate music and movement from that learning center, art, what you're going to use for free play. Free play are the creative things that you do in your classroom, like you might make a Walmart or you might make a movie theater, and children can go into that center, act, and free play. Next, we ask what you're going to do strategically for dramatic play, because in dramatic play, we teach about the eating placements, we teach about fruits and vegetables and sorting and those sorts. So that objective has to be there so that when children go into that center, they're not just there playing, but the teacher has introduced the center, introduced the material, and facilitating the child's learning. Also, my teachers are responsible for playground activities. So when we get ready to go outside, they have to plan if they're doing kickball, duck, goose, which is following directions, if they're going to be talking about sharing, or if they're going to be talking about running, skipping. So those things have to be identified, because we have a system in place where the morning activity is teacher directed and the evening activity is free play outside. And then we ask our teachers to use some transition activities, whether they are songs, whether they are table directed transition activities, or whether it's a dance, whether it's the clapping of hands. We ask that our teachers plan that out. Now, at the conclusion of this video, so many minutes later, I hope that you catch my flow and that you really could value it. So we normally print it out front, back, but I wanted both pages so I can show them to you. How this effective system may not be your lesson plan that's approved through your state, But if you're interested in having a flow for your classroom being managed to facilitate your curriculum being executed, I highly suggest this type of training for you. Well, all right, you guys may be asking, Coach, where is all this information at? Well, we do offer it in our school of systems. If you would like to find out more about our school of systems and if what I offer will be the best option for you, be sure to book a call. You can click the link below, book a discovery call, and find out more about our training and how you can implement these things in your business. All right, until next time, remember, if you manage the childcare business that you love, you will love the childcare business that you manage. Bye, you guys. Give me some feedback. Let me know if you enjoyed this type of training below.